think Amanda has reached out to the different councilmen. I know that I met with her, and she went through the night of all the frustrations dealing with this person. Again, it wasn't appropriate what she did or the language. I didn't like that, but I'm not a police officer, and again, I don't approve of that. I remember another incident very similar to this, at Generation Sales. You know, she had chased down a guy out there and took care of him, and it wasn't anything like this. You know, she took care of him, and some other policemen came to help her out and that night. So I guess that regardless what direction we go, we have a job outside the police department that she would have to see. We need somebody for the codes enforcement, and we'll see in Mr. Chief's report that she's been doing that, animal control, and then we're short at times in the city hall, and that's something that she could do. So that's just kind of a little background, and I guess so I've started a conversation, so y'all can jump in or whatever you need to do.
Any other concerns or comments? Want to get all the questions answered so we can vote on this at our next meeting.
Of course, I have no idea how the vote's going to go, which it should be that way. But in my discussions with Amanda, I said you run the risk of a termination. And she said she didn't want that on her record. But if you read the contract, the last paragraph, it says, should the employee breach this agreement by resignation or termination, she shall reimburse the city of Westmoreland the full cost of her tuition, which was $3,300. I'm not sure that contract is really good, because she did give time to the city, you know, whether we terminate her or not. She worked for 4.5 months as a police officer, so part of that. So,
and the employee furthermore agrees to work for the city of Westmoreland for the sum of 2 years.
Right.
So that in itself, she didn't meet that criteria.
Correct.
So are you suggesting, Doug, that since she is no longer a police officer, she would be responsible for paying the city back the $3,300?
It looks like, according to the contract that is before us, it does appear to say that. The issue is that Ms. Wolf is no longer, despite the fact of what we saw in the video, she's no longer able to perform the duties that she was hired to do. And then creating a job for her at this time is something that I think that we need to take a step back and consider what we're looking at here, the future of her employment here for the city of Westmoreland.
Other questions or comments?
I'd just point out, Mr. Mayor, that the contract just talks about 2 years working for Westmoreland. She's still working for Westmoreland. There's no stipulation that she has to continue as a police officer. I had nothing to do with drawing this contract. There are several things that can be said about this. It's also, typically, you do not charge someone for their training when they're involuntarily separated from employment. It's kind of hard to collect. When someone voluntarily quits, it makes sense to charge them because it's their choice. But if they leave involuntarily, it'd be real hard to collect this money. I wouldn't be suggesting that you sue her in general sessions for it. I'll put it that way.
Thank you.
I do want to say I tend to agree with Mr. Brown that we need to think about this as we think about continuing her employment with the city of Westmoreland. We really need to weigh heavy on that.
I agree with Mr. Bennell also that, yes, it was wrong what she did. And I'm sure there's been other cases, not with her, but maybe other police officers that maybe didn't get to this extent. But she was arrested and she was, the court did handle her situation. And she was only convicted of a misdemeanor. And I know, I'm sure that there's other employees working with the city and other employers that have misdemeanors on their record. I don't think that should deny anyone of employment with an employer. Now, felony, she was not convicted as a felony. That's a different situation, and our charter or policy one referenced that. But let's just do remember that her charge was only a misdemeanor.
My concern is, after this suspect was down on the ground, not resisting, in handcuffs, and then that's when the waylaying, as he called it, began. I understand from other testimony that this suspect gave them no reason, didn't hurt them in no way, or give them no reason for to be treated that way. That's my concern.
And two, we don't know what led up before this camera footage that we have seen. We don't know what, when they made the initial stop, I'm not aware of what all went on with this gentleman before he took off running.
Anything anyone else would like to say?
So if she resigns, then she would owe the $3,300.
Well, according to this agreement, she would. And of course, the council could waive that if you wanted to, but that's up to council to decide.
Again, we terminate her.
Typically, if you terminate someone, it'd be hard to say,
Or
you know,
collect the-
you're willing to continue to work, but we don't want you to, but you still owe us the money. That'd be a difficult position to put yourself in.
Mayor, would you like to address us on this? Your thoughts?
I might get the comments from the chief and see what he says about it, because our charter says that you can always take the recommendation, the council can, may or may not, the recommendation of the department head. So I know several of you have talked to the chief, and I have talked to him too, but in the official format that we're in here tonight, I'd like for the chief to comment on it.
I have mixed emotions about it. I wasn't there that night, so I don't know really exactly everything that led up to it, you know, what happened. I seen some of the video. I did see some officer safety issues. Gentleman was out of the car, should have never been allowed to get back in the car. Once the person is out of the car, you know, he has no, you pat him down, you feel pretty much safe that the person doesn't have a weapon on him. Got back in the car, you don't know what he's going after. Could have got a gun, could have got a knife. Takes off running. You know, you're probably thinking, me, how I would be thinking, okay, he got back in the car, he's took off running. Now I don't know what he's got. Could have a knife, could have a gun. You know, so as far as that night, you know, she, like as you said, Mayor, she was charged and dealt with by the court. I did speak to Amanda. She's a young officer and never had no issues out of her through the Generation Sales, when she captured 2 burglars in the act. Done an excellent job, wonderful job. She got injured for that. You know, my opinion we have a very thin line. You know, we have to, unlike everybody else, you know, you can say what you want, do what you want. No one's gonna say nothing about it. Police officer, firefighter, somebody in the public, we say something, come out, we just have a bad day, you're gonna be scrutinized. And that's just the way it is. I had told the man, I said, to me, I said, your best bet would be go ahead and resign, and, you know, whatever issues that you may have and may do, take care of it, think about yourself, think about your little boy. She's headstrong, she wants a career with her city, she lives here. You know, she wants to stay employed with the city, she wants to fulfill her contract. My recommendation, you know, on it, she was an officer, she is no longer an officer. We terminated her status with post, we terminated her status as a police officer over here. She's been doing the job as a dog catcher, she's been catching dogs, she's captured 30 dogs, or animal calls, and then she also been trying to deal with skunks and different things. And as you know, the city don't pay nothing. Just don't, you know, we just don't pay nothing. So you really can't find anybody to do that particular job. It's a dirty job. I mean, so she's been doing that. It's been a pressure off my back. It's been a pressure. It's when people call and say, hey, I got a dog that's running loose. Well, I've got a burglary, or I've got something else I got to deal with. So, you know, her taking that off, it's really helped out a whole lot. So, as far as being a police officer, my recommendation would be no. She's not a police officer. She's doing a good job as an animal control officer. She's keeping things clean. So, as far as that part, I'm sorry, that's going to be up to you all. As far as being a police officer, if you was to ask me about being a police officer, then my job as the chief of police, I would say no. She does not carry a badge, she does not have a badge, does not carry a gun. I just supervise her animal control. So on supervising her with that part, she does a good job. So whether or not y'all want to keep her, that's going to be on y'all.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate that. The charter specifies that, or the policies and procedures specifies that if the council votes so such, then there can be demotions, promotions, transfers, all things of that matter that the council votes on. It also stipulates that you set the amount of pay for that position. So, as I see it, you have basically 3 options. You can transfer, or well, it's not really a transfer to another department as such, because we put animal control under the police department. We've not really had animal control in a lot of years, so this is somewhat a new position with a new job description. So you can do that. You can leave it or same pay. You can classify it as a transfer or demotion, and cut the amount of pay and set a new rate of pay for her. There is no pay scale for that, so it's open. I know what the recommendation was at the previous work study meeting that you were going to vote on, but was deferred, or you can always consider termination. So that's kind of the options as I see those. And to speak to what the vice mayor asked is, I don't really have a good how do I say this, the council does not always agree with my disciplinary actions. That's why we're, pretty much in the position that we're in, is because the policies and procedures was changed because I terminated an employee before. So, this is fully within the scope, of what the council does per the charter and per the policies and recommendations. You're gonna be discussing some charter changes later in the meeting. And one of the recommendations that I'm gonna put forward to the council is that you follow suit that a lot of other cities and municipalities are doing, and that is to give the authority to hire and terminate and make moves and within departments to your department heads. There are several cities that do that, and we will maybe consult with the attorney. I'm sure that he can shed some light on that from the other cities. So if you don't have any more questions, if you do, we'll get those answered, because we want to get this on the table and get it voted for at the next meeting. Okay. Last call.
If she did agree to the reduced pay that we had discussed in the work study, you know, I was concerned with that, and she was okay with that, if the council sees fit.
Okay. Make sure that's on the agenda for the next meeting, and we'll move on to the next one.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
are we as the public gonna be able to speak to this?
If you would like to come and speak at the next meeting when it's gonna come up for vote, I do allow public comments for anything that's on the agenda at that meeting, so yes, you will be able to speak. Ms. Felicia Head.
Good evening, council. I want to say I appreciate you letting me come up and speak about the playground money. As you know, last year the city council and the city blessed the playground for this community with $10,000, and the citizens pulled together and donated some money as well. And there was a line order put in the budget last year to have just for playground. And I looked at the budget, and the money's not there. So when I done a little research and talked to Miss Keisha, she helped me with it, and I appreciate it. And I asked her, and I said, well, where is that money? How much money do we have left for the playground? Because maybe a teeter-totter or something that can be put on the playground for additional things added. And Miss Keisha and I spoke, and she said it was $2,056.77 that's in the general fund. And I'm coming before you tonight and asking you, could you please remove that much money from the general fund that should have already been allocated into the playground fund, because that's where it really belongs.
Yes, wait for discussion.
Yes.
I agree with you. I did the research as well with Keisha, and you're totally right. I think this was a couple of years back, maybe.
Last year.
Physical year, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there should have been either one of two things happening. The recorder at that time should have taken that $2,056.77 that was left over, that donation line,
Mm-hmm.
and put it in a different account, set it aside until it was used.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, it was donations. Or either she could have made a journal entry to put that over to the fund balance and bring it back over to the next fiscal year budget, and neither one of the two was done. So I agree, the city still has that money that was donations that should go back and for the park committee to use.
There's not a park committee.
I mean, the playground committee.
There's not one anymore.
Well,
so,
at the time it was.
Right. So I really,
Whomever, let's put it that way.
yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, it'll help the community, and something maybe can be added to the playground for the kids. So, thank you.
you. Is someone from the Chamber of Commerce here to speak tonight?
I think that has to be put on the agenda, the playground money to be voted on. Is that what you said, Keisha? Hello? You. You have a magnifying glass? Thank you.
The last time the chamber approached y'all, we kinda done all this as hypothetical. And I've understood that y'all have some questions for us, but I'm gonna let Jeff do a lot of the talking. I'm just gonna talk for a few seconds. We have been approved, the grant money has been approved to use for this project now. So they are gonna let us use it for that. What Jeff just handed you out is what his estimate on everything that we've got on here except for the tables and chairs that will be bought. This is all the electrical equipment and stuff along those lines. So I'm gonna let him talk.
And possibly tax.
Let him talk on this stuff, yes.
Hey everyone. So, this is to take the Chamber of Commerce occupied area and also some electronic equipment inside of it. It's to do several things. It's to enable, first off, a network in the area to allow for a base, like a small business network to be established there. That could be expanded down the road. And it will allow for when businesses come to town. You know, if they want to have a group of people come in and do testing. They want to do testing online so they can actually see if someone's qualified to do a job. We can actually host that. So this is what this is for. It's actually to electrify the area, put some electronics in there, put Wi-Fi in, and eventually we can, like I said, expand that footprint. But this is a small step. It's also to put a television in the area, so we can have some graphics going as a company prospect comes into town, and it's to put more of a finesse onto the bow that we want to apply for when people come to see our town. So, but like I said, the line items, you'll see the ubiquity stuff. That's actually a small network. Like I said, that's expandable, so you can actually put in more access points for Wi-Fi signal, and actually you can actually go to the external antennas too. So if we ever want to do an external network, that's actually possible as well. And then you've got laptops, also a laser jet for actually printing material out for companies and for the people. And then of course a 55-inch television, a smart television, so you can actually project things to it from a PC. So like tonight's meeting, if we decided to put up a television here, you can actually do smart televisions, and you can actually plug all that into it. So if someone breaks a laptop or a telephone, they can actually project to that television. So, and then again, tables, chairs. Well, one thing I did forget is the North Central. North Central does something that most people don't even know they do. They actually will install cabling. So, like whenever you have North Central come out and do your house for a for cable, or to get the cable installation, or let's say you have the internet connection that they have, they can run the cables for you. Well, it's part of their quote unquote free deployment to get you on the roll, right? Well, if you pay them $50 a head, $50 a pull, they'll do the actual pulls for you to do internet in your office or your home or anywhere else. I like that kind of stuff, so I got it out there at my house. So that's actually to do those pulls as well. So I'll stop there. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Okay, some of the questions that arose when we were at he came to the last meeting,
Yeah.
and discussed it with us, and we thought maybe we kind of had the general idea.
Yeah.
And when it come time to vote, we started asking specifics on it, and we realized that we all kind of had a different idea about things.
Okay.
One of the items were we